Well, Henshaw here again, Constitutional Coup headquarters, and with an important update on a video I just did, and some of you have seen, with my longtime friend, co-conspirator, and domestic terrorist Adam Berkey about the summary denial of his petition to the U.S. Supreme Court by the clerk of court. Never heard of such a thing there. Of course, a lot of you are going to be familiar with that with your local trial courts. But the Supreme Court, in which, by their own admission, we have the right to appear. We have better standings than the states we created, for crying out loud. And now the clerk can, pursuant to Rule 1 of the U.S. Supreme Court, refuse to file documents. Wow. So it's a little bit of a different video. It's not just me talking. It's Adam and his friend Georgette, who has a mortgage case that we're dealing with. And we just talk like friends back and forth and throw out ideas and comments and suggestions. I think you'll find it very interesting. Not much in the way of legalities, but a lot of information. And I know most of you can't watch, an hour and 20-minute video at one time. I rarely can do it myself. But I do encourage you to do that and offer your comments and suggestions here. And we will probably be doing more as this case gets updated. So that said, I just wanted to throw that out there. And also note, although we didn't maybe make it as clear as we should on the video, that Mr. Berkey sent a letter to Justice Clarence Thomas by restricted delivery. And I did the same thing to Sam Alito, restricted delivery. 2 weeks later, we haven't heard from them. And these are documents in theory that the addressee has to sign personally for. Because you would think, the documents go to the Supreme Court, they get distributed to all the chambers of all the justices, right? Apparently no more. That used to be the case at one time. I bet there's a really great book on this subject called The Brethren by Bob Woodward and Armstrong. I can't remember his last name, but a really good book called The Brethren that discusses issues like this, especially around the time that the Chief Justice Earl Warren retired and was replaced by Warren E. Bastard Berger, who you might expect to have created a rule like this, but he didn't, and it didn't exist until after the turn of the century, because I have the official publication of the Supreme Court practice and all that from 1993. Rule 1 wasn't anything like what they're claiming it is now, and it does appear to say the clerk has this kind of power. That said, it can only be applied to the appellate jurisdiction. Are you listening, John Roberts, Amy Coney Barrett, any of you other political hacks? I mean, this is how it's supposed to work. We have the right to be there. We created the Constitution. We ordained and established it to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Did you miss that part in the law school you went to, or what? I mean, we tell you what to do. Simple. We created the whole thing. We're the ones that have rights. And that, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly the fact the New York banksters don't want you to know, and why there's so much crap going on today with the BLM, civil rights, critical race. And yeah, by the way, we are the critical race. If we're not here, this nation and republic doesn't exist. See you later. So all this crap because the New York banksters don't want us to know what we have, because the rights we have secured by the Constitution put them and what I identify today as the de facto National Socialist government out of business. And it's actually comparatively easy when you learn, as you will, by the way, by acquiring my modestly priced constitutional defense document packets. Send me an email, youwinincourt@gmail.com. And one of the first things you learn is there are no elections. Can't be, because what we can otherwise prove, and I have an unopposed 83-page brief on this subject, there are no states remaining which were admitted into this union. Game over. Without states, think about this as it relates to elections in particular. How could Congress, even if it otherwise had authority to do it, provide for elections in what are at best federal insular territorial possessions for the office of president. Ever hear of the Electoral College, anyone? Voting members of Congress, none of which come from territories, and United States senators, which is still an appointed office, not elected, the 17th War Amendment to the apparent contrary notwithstanding. And here, for reasons you'll learn by acquiring my document packet, send me an email, uwinnincourt@gmail.com. And also note that what I do and the issues I present, the magnitude of the multiple unopposed issues that I advocate and can teach you to do, covers a lot of ground here. Just about any agency of any level of government. And I mean big time here. This is, for example, the DMV, the FTB here in California, since we're not a franchise, the IRS, I mean, you name it. It's just that way. And it also covers now with student loans is another area this works very well with. And with landlord-tenant issues and allegedly past due rent. And what you can prove there, by the way, especially with a corporate landlord, is there is no landlord-tenant relationship. It doesn't exist. The corporation doesn't exist. That's how exciting this is when you really learn the truth. And like all of you, I was abysmally ignorant coming out of high school 50 years ago myself. In fact, I might be the league leader for that, because what did I do at the age of 19? Volunteered into the U.S. Marine Corps at the height of the test events. See you later. What I should have been done is what I'm doing now, is challenging all this crap. And there were challenges at the time, video for another day, about the Vietnam War, aka UN peacekeeping effort. But I learned. And the funny part about it is my beloved mom put a curse on the Marines and said, "You're not going to get them." And they didn't. I have the shortest tour of duty in the history of Marine Corps, active duty, 3 hours. Phone call to get me was so quick that they hadn't gotten back from taking me yet. And even with cell phones, which of course wasn't true 50 years ago, it would have been quick as well. So that's just, I never got to Paris Island. I mean, the gunnery sergeant looked up to me and says, "If you lost your glasses, how would you know who to shoot?" Well, I didn't know at the time what I know now, because I think the right answer to that question would have been fine. Give me an M16, point me back down to Washington, D.C., 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I'll take care of the problem. Now, that's more humorous than anything else, but in pure point of fact, that's what was really going on at the time. I wrote a lot more about all of that, too. Because, yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist, among other things. And while you're at it, Merrick Garland, why don't you charge me with being a domestic terrorist and stick the FBI on me, bastard? It's all you people want to do these days. And they're threatening to do this, by the way, if you don't know, to parents who have school children who oppose the critical race theory being taught there. That's considered racist. Talk about black as white, and they recognize this readily in the CIA language. That's the business they've been in since 1947. This is all, we have to stop all of this. And the best way to do it, all of us work together. Africans, Americans, Asians, across the board, with the right issues, the right courts, and very similar standing. And that's how we beat these bastards and get them off our backs. That said, remember, like the videos, tell your friends, and let's all get together and work. And do watch this video I just did. Yeah, I know it's an hour and 20 odd minutes, but I think you're going to like all of it. Most of mine are like this one, about 15, so it's pretty easy to do. And we'll be talking more about videos later as current events continue to develop. So that said, remember to send me that email and subscribe, like the videos, and tell your friends. We can beat the bastards, and we can do it in short order if all goes well here. Thank you.